So today we are going to talk about book module 21, rights and responsibilities. So we'll briefly explain what is Hong Kong. How does rule of law protects the rights and responsibilities for Hong Kong citizens? So firstly, we'll define Hong Kong citizens briefly as eligible people and non-eligible people. People with a permanent residence and non-permanent residents, and also Chinese citizens and non-Chinese citizens. So we may now start. And criteria of being a Hong Kong permanent resident means that if you have a Chinese nationality, firstly you have to be born in Hong Kong, you live in Hong Kong for 7 years, and your parents have to be Chinese. So yeah. So you have to meet either one of these. If you're born in Hong Kong, that means when you're born in this place, you acquire this nationality just when you're born. This is your born right or something. Just one of these. And if you have a foreign nationality, you have to have some valid travel documents. Your sons and your daughters are born in Hong Kong, so maybe you'll find a husband here and they are born in Hong Kong. So if they're under 21 years, you are still a permanent resident, and you live in Hong Kong before the establishment, which is 1997. Okay, what is rights? So we'll explain what is rights first. So people are always mentioning, oh, we have the human rights, we have the freedom of speech, we have the rights to speak up. So what is the word technically rights meaning? So rights meaning the power and joy in a society. Power, interest, and joy in a society. It's something that we born to have it. It's like a concept, okay, of the age of enlightenment. During the age of enlightenment, this concept starts from now. John Locke stated that humans, should have inherent natural rights. You are born with rights, and your individual rights should not be abused or deprived by any persons. So this is how it starts. And also the French Revolution, it has the Declaration of Human and Civil Rights. It's quite important. Just mark a star here somewhere. And because you now enjoy liberty, property, which is sacred and inviolable, resistance to oppression, and security. These are all rights stated during the French Revolution. They think they have the liberty, property. So, before the revolution, it has absolute monarchy. Before its absolute monarchy, so what the king says is the rules. You cannot disobey. It's like those Bible characters in the Bible obeying God. This is, if you disobey God, you will have punishment. You can't be the king. You can't be the person. Something like that. So property and liberty at that time is it does not exist, and property means that technically their land can be easily abused by others, because sometimes they got a piece of land, and then a king just passed through and said, oh, you have a pretty good piece of land, I'm gonna take your land and you will get nothing. Something like this, always. And resistance to oppression, because the king sometimes makes some unreasonable policies. They cannot oppress. For example, at that time they got an estate general, because estates general, the first and second estate always, one estate, one vote, and then this is like unreasonable. So they have a resistance to oppression and also security. They have unfair treatment at that time. And freedom to express, belief, and publication. So you can express things, believe something, publish something. And also these are super important. Liberty, property, oppression to resistance, and security. Security of person, because at the olden days you always get killed because of some ridiculous reasons, because, oh, I like your wife, and then you are a person here, so I want your wife. do sex with your wife, and to sleep with your wife. So he simply kills the husband, right? And stated the principle of separation of judicial, legislative, and executive power. Why does this happen? Because at olden days, the king has the all its authority. It has absolute. So now prevent the abuse of rights of leaders. So leaders cannot no longer just abuse their rights. And also everyone is equal before the law. These are quite important stuff. And let's see. Right, so chapter 3 of the Basic Law, it stated that people in Hong Kong enjoy political, social, economic, and personal freedom. So we will briefly explain these. So what is freedom of person? It includes your home and premises, where you live. And you got the freedom of marriage and rights to raise a family. So you can marry anyone you want, or you can have a family with the person you love. You can have a family but not to get married. You can have the right to rear a child, grow them up. Yeah, something like that. Oh, sorry, it's got a typo here, I suppose. It's Article 30. Article 30 stated that the privacy and communication. We got freedom of communication and privacy. Article 30. And freedom of movement within Hong Kong, SAR, and immigration. Number one. You can move to other countries or you can move freely against Hong Kong. So nobody will care about whether you're going to Taiwan, whether if you're going to Causeway Bay or whatever. You just don't need to commit a crime. So if you are about to commit a crime, for example, you are going to have a bomb at the like Times Square, so that where are you going, this will be tracked. But if you're just doing nothing, you're just going to shopping there, so nothing will happen. And Article 24, bracket 2, it means that you have the right of adobe. You can have the right to land, right to stay, shall not be removed or deported. So, of course, unless you commit a crime, and this is always, you enjoy all those rights and freedoms unless you commit a crime. Any crimes or criminals or so. Thank you. And legalize, meaning that you can vote and stand for an election. And this is like a Hong Kong. So this the rights of Hong Kong permanent residents, because Article 26 stated that non-permanent residents cannot vote. Why? Because they might be leaving soon, because most non-permanent residents they come to Hong Kong because they come here to work or take some schools. Just they are not here for long term. They're not here forever. They're just here maybe for months or maybe years. But not important. Article 26, no, damn. And this is also about everyone is equal before the law. They have rights to access to legal service, except especially the legal aid department is used to help people with those. They don't have enough money to get themselves paid for a lawyer, so they can ask for legal aid to help them to access to the courts and access to justice, to legal service and whatsoever. Okay, they got economic rights. They can have freedom of choice of occupation, and they have social welfare. You are supposed to have a social welfare. Something like the labor law is about this. How many day take off you can have, and how much OT you can have as most, and I don't know. And becoming a public servant. This is a right of permanent. If you're not permanent, you cannot do something like being a public servant. It's like working for the government. Like if you're doing some librarians and you are actually being a public servant. As I remember, teachers are actually public servant too. Freedom of religious belief. So this is like freedom of belief. You can believe whatever you want, like Islam, Catholic, Protestantism whatsoever. We don't care about what you believe. As long as you don't commit crime, you're not having some religion stuff to, how should we describe? You're having some religion stuff to tell people, oh, we should kill ourselves. We should kill others. Just doing that to do some prayers or so. This is totally fine. You can engage in academic research, literary, artistic creation, and other cultural activities, such as you got education. What do you call as academic research? Because some countries, they don't allow students to do that. So literary is those poems. You can write stuff. You can draw something. You can maybe make some statues. Yeah. And next, political rights. It's quite important. I think it does has like a whole slide. So freedom of speech and of the press. We can interview. So it means that you have the right to interview somebody, to report somebody, to publish. Of freedom of publication and distribution. You can get something spread to the world. Tell the world that, oh, this is happening. This is super important. Freedom of speech. Everyone is emphasizing about freedom of speech because, okay, this is like declared by the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Everyone has the right to express their views freely. So this is our human rights, okay? So this is what we should enjoy with our inborn. Of course, some countries don't enjoy this, I suppose. Those maybe Northern Korea don't enjoy this. Right to access to information. This is super important too. This is like complementary with this, okay? Is that if we have the freedom of speech so that we can have the rights to access to information. No, technically it's like because we have the rights to access to information so that we have the freedom of speech. They are complementary. We need to receive information and tell others information. Okay, why it's so important to access to information. Isn't more important to speak out, but actually if you don't know the information, you won't even have the choice. You don't even know what to speak out. You need to have some rumors or so. Okay, rights of government comes from the people. The people refers to it's like a concept from the French Revolution actually. The political power belongs to people. Yeah. And the right come from people. So people should know what the government is doing because we pay tax, and tax is actually the foundation of the government. So the people enjoy rights to know that what the heck is the government using our money to do. So we should know what the government is doing and review their work. And also because the government is using our tax, okay, is we forming the government actually. We pay tax to the government. We support the government to just keep on running, keep on working, So we enjoy the right of appeal to improve the government policies, transparency, and also accountability. So what is meaning that accountability? Meaning that if somebody does something wrong, we know that, and this person will be responsible. If somebody did something bad or did something wrong, he needs to be responsible, and maybe he needs to be fired by the government, or maybe he has to be like giving the money. Maybe this guy is taking some bribes, so he needs to just get all the money back to the government. Yeah, just to review their work. Yeah. So actually, it's what we call sufficient of government. We know what it is. This is transparency. So because we have the government has the transparency. So technically it's like something like that. Right of government comes from people. So we should enjoy the transparency and accountability so that we can review the government work and use the right of appeal to improve the government policies to meet the aim to supervision the work of government. So why is this important? Because if this is suppressed, the freedom of press will be greatly reduced, because we don't even know what the heck the government is doing. So why would we able to publish something? Yeah, because I think because the information we should access to, it should be unbiased, objective, and accurate. So if we even don't know any information, we don't know. We know nothing. So the freedom of press will also be greatly reduced, and also the public's opinions and media's ability, meaning the freedom of press, we need to oversee the government is limited. Our social participation of this whole issue is being limited. Okay, and okay, this is super important. These whole page, if you can remember them, just remember them all. Yeah, freedom of association, assembly, procession, and demonstration. Right to form trade unions and to strike. So we can form groups, It's like we having a student association. This is our rights. We can form something like that, and if we are not satisfied, we can strike for this. Limited rights. So most people say we have like countless rights. We can do this, we can do that, we can do everything, but rights are limited because we need to protect the rights of. Why? Because we need to the reason that we have limited rights is that we need to protect the rights of others and overall needs of the society. Because the society is not only for one person, the society is for all. If everybody is doing like, we're destroying stuff, so this society won't be able to maintain. So Article 11 stated that the system that protects the rights and freedom of residents shall be based on the provisions of basic law. So the system protects the rights and freedom. It's based on basic law. And basic law actually clearly stated that the rights Hong Kong residents enjoy. It's a well-developed law system. And also, in order to protect the rights of others, we got something internationally. It's why Article 49 is that International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights, and also International Labor Convention are all applied and valid in Hong Kong, and they shall be applied through the law. So this is what we call Universal Declaration of the Human Rights. So why is this appearing? Because it has 13 articles. Because Article 1 is the basic premise, and that which stated that man is to be born free and equal in dignity and rights. We enjoy this, okay? We enjoy freedom, rights, and dignity. Everything like stated in before, like we have liberty, we have enjoy our rights of liberty, security, and also property is inviolable and sacred, and also resistance towards oppression. We can have two examples like Ivana, an Indonesian maid, and Edward Snowden, an ex-CIA contractor who is continuously leaking secrets of the CIA of America. So America is actually having is finding him, and Hong Kong protected him and give him, we show this the freedom of press. And Ivana is also, we show them how powerful the media and the press is are. Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So man is to be born free and equal in rights and dignity. It's super important. Okay, we can have like numbers. We have like 3 names to remember in this page. Civic responsibilities. I want to state that rights and responsibilities are complementary. Do you know what is complementary? Is that if one appears, another shall also appear. Are complementary. So Number one, we have to comply with our law, which means we have to protect because our rights and freedoms are protected. Article 42. Everyone in Hong Kong shall have the obligation to abide by the law enforced by the HKSAR. And what are laws actually? What laws mentioned here is meaning that the basic law and the constitution of the PRC, because our basic law is according to the constitution of the PRC. Because we have the constitution is okay, we'll briefly explain this. Law is like basic law and constitution. Why? You may ask that. Why? What is law? The law basis is actually being a constitution, the country's constitution actually, not every constitution. It can't go against the provisions of the constitution, and it regulates the social behavior and activities. Sorry, continue here. So, yeah. And number two, we have to pay tax, which we divided into mostly salary tax and profit tax. It's quite a lot of tax, but Hong Kong technically maintained a simple tax system, a simple and independent taxation system with a low tax policy, so it's pretty simple. So we would just briefly tell you about what is salary tax and profit tax. So why we don't pay tax actually? Because it's the foundation for the government to promote various policies and maintain this social welfare. Okay. It's actually related because we need money. So we're building something in the Lantau Island, and this is like a policy because the government wants to build more buildings to have more people to live, and this is and also social welfare because I remember those elderlies got like I remember $2,000 per month for seeing doctors, and maybe 1,000 for buying fruits. Yeah, just like subsidies for the poor people. Okay, low tax policy. So some people think that Hong Kong has a good economic performance, but disparity between the rich and poor is pretty large, because so that it is suggested that the tax of high income earners should be raised so that the government could improve policies, just simply give more money to the poor people, and it means that we can have more social welfare, but actually weakening the competitiveness of Hong Kong, because the people are, well, why do you want to Hong Kong to have business? Because we have a low tax policy. If we don't have the low tax policy, actually we don't actually enjoy the advantage of being an international financial center. So it's very important why people come to Hong Kong, because we have a low tax policy. So we'll technically weaken the competitiveness of Hong Kong. Okay, number three is that we respect others, we have consideration for others, and also protect the environment and public properties. This is super lame, so it's not important. Super important, safeguarding the national security. So what is national security? We got a definition here. So national security means the regime's sovereignty, unity, and territorial integrity, welfare of the people, sustainable economic and social development, and other major interests are relatively not faced with any danger. We are not threatened internally or externally. We have the capability to maintain a security state status. So, and actually in these aspects, especially in political, economy, social, cyber, technological, and overseas interests, military, homeland, resource, cultural security, or new dominant, ecological, and nuclear. So these are quite relevant. And let me see. So this is Article 2 of the National Security Law of the PRC explain what is national security. So Hong Kong should enact laws to prohibit any acts of treason, secession, sedition, subversion against the Central People's Government, or theft of state secrets. All Hong Kong residents, although we don't actually have the military service law, but we still have the duty to uphold national unity and solidarity. So that, wrong date. 30th June 2020, the law of the People's Republic of China on safeguarding national security in Hong Kong Special Administrative Region is applied. And the 15th of April, it's the National Security Education Day. So all schools at that day will be taught something about national security, such as, we should suppress treason, we should not be the theft of state secrets, but although the military law of the PRC is not applicable to Hong Kong SAR, but when a standing committee of the NPC declares a state of war, the Central People's Government may also issue an order to implement the relevant national laws in Hong Kong. Okay, we can see the constitution of the PRC to protect the national security. So the state shall maintain public order, suppress treason, and punish and reform criminals. Criminals, what the definition of criminals is, it jeopardize national or public security, it endangers socialist society. When they are exercising their rights and freedom, they shall not undermine the interests of the state, society, and collectives, safeguarding national unity, and abide by the Constitution and the law. We should protect public property. 28 is that we maintain public order. 51 is that we shall not undermine the interests of the state, society, and collectives. Number 52, safeguarding national unity. 53, abide by the Constitution and the law. Protect public property. Observe discipline of the public. Keep state secrets, such as that our country is having some bombs, and then you cannot tell other countries that. And respect social morality. Number 54, defend the security, interest, and honor of the motherland. Motherland is a super important word because, next one, it's the sacred duty to defend the motherland and resist aggression. 55. Okay, we briefly explain what is Chinese citizens. So if you're born in Hong Kong or one of your parents are Chinese, so that you are Chinese citizens. And according to the nationality law of the PRC, number one, China does not recognize dual nationality. It means that if you are born in China, but if you went to USA, you just so that we got a lot here. These two. So if you're born in China with Chinese parents, you are Chinese. If you're born abroad with Chinese parents, but if your parents are already settled abroad, so this is quite different. The settled abroad means that you will acquire a foreign nationality because you moved there. Your parents are neutralized, so you acquire that. Your parents are stateless or uncertain nationality, and they settle in China, so Chinese. If you are being a foreign and you are willing to abide by the laws and constitution of the China, firstly, you have to be a near relative of Chinese, maybe your wife, your husband, or you are settled in China, or you have other legitimate reasons such as you're doing business here. So these two are complementary. You need to at least settle in China. You may be neutralized if one of their as long your application is approved. As you're being a foreign, if your application is approved, you have no more retained foreign nationality because China does not accept dual nationality. And also, if you are Chinese, you settle abroad and then you neutralize, so that you automatically lost Chinese nationality. Rights and responsibilities. You can obtain a Chinese passport. This is a basic right of citizens and proof of one's nationality and identity. So we cannot abuse this. And Hong Kong SAR is authorized by Central People's Government to issue this Hong Kong SAR passport. You can become a principal officer of HKSAR. Article 61, you need to live here. Permanent residents live here for 15 years. 15 years Chinese residents, so that you can become these stuff. And also something about chief executive. If you say Article 60 bracket 1, what is chief executive? Is the head of HKSAR, so it's briefly explain what is CE. And Article 40, bracket 1, it reports and nominates to the Central People's Government for appointment to principal officers. Okay. So what do we have to report to? So like also. Oh, what do we define principal officers? So if you're executive council member, chief justice of final appeal court, chief judge of the high court, and other key posts, you are doing this. So if you are participating in state affairs or management, meaning that you can participate in the MPC. Chapter 2 of the Constitution is the fundamental rights and duties of citizens, so we mean safeguard national unity, defend motherland, just safeguard unity and defend motherland, resist aggression, pay tax, remember pay tax, dude. Okay, so we will end here now, and then we will have our next part of the video later on.